What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? In today's video, we're going to be talking about scout rifles, and more specifically, the Mossberg scout rifle. I think it's a really cool design. Personally, I like the idea of a scout rifle, something that's very light and handy. Now, I want to talk a little bit less about the scout rifle I have right here, but more of the idea of scout rifles. Does the scout rifle still have a place in today's world of rifles? What is a scout rifle? You have a scope mounted forward of the action. That way you can get a quicker sight picture. It's kind of like the premise of you know where your target is not, so you know where it is. Additionally, it being chambered in a heavier caliber, like .308 Winchester, I believe was the original caliber that scout rifles were supposed to be chambered in. That's because you can have a lot more energy than you could with something like a 5.56. Also, you can maintain that power that you want in a short barrel. So this is a, I believe, 16.5-inch barrel with a .308. I'm not entirely sure what the specs are on that, foot-pounds per energy and velocity wise. I'll have to also put that up on the screen. I'm not sure if it's required to have a threaded barrel. Most scout rifles do have a threaded barrel. It has to have a sling so that you can carry your gun easily and have your hands free. I believe the gun has to weigh under 4 kilograms, so 8.8 pounds, with your sling, fully loaded mag, scope, the whole deal. And iron sights. The rifle needs to have a set of backup iron sights so that if your scope fails, you still have some form of sighting for your weapon. The stock on the gun is recommended to be either polymer or laminate because wood isn't the most durable. Now, pretty much to break down all of that information, you want something light, fast, quick to shoot, and easy to carry. As far as the actual application of a scout rifle goes, what can you use a scout rifle for? The whole idea behind a scout rifle was that if you get in a firefight with a scout rifle, you're doing things wrong. And if you look at what a scout is somebody that moves beyond the original. I think platoon could technically be the correct term, but we're just gonna use this, like, I'm gonna use terminology like it's you and your boys are out on a weekend. The boys are held up over here. Now you're the scout, so you grab your scout rifle and you gotta go up here and scout out the enemy, see what's going on over there. And then you're gonna come back and relay information to the boys. If he has to use his rifle, he has something that's lightweight, dependable, and can be used in any scenario. It's a good cross between something like an AR or like your battle rifles and an actual precision rifle. Now that does also mean that it's not going to be the best at either one of those. If you are in a situation where, like I said, you're the scout, so you're not with the boys, it's just you, you're running solo. When you're soloing, right? When you got to clutch the solo and all you have is your scout rifle, then you got to be able to do everything. The scout rifle is essentially like Rainbow Six Siege, and it's a 1v4, and you have the diffuser. So what would be the reason that you would want a scout rifle over something like an AR-15? You're not helping. I don't think you're educated in this subject like I am. Okay, right here, this is like a very standard built AR. I'm sure that most people watching this have something very similar to this. It's got a 1:4 optic on top of it, 5.56, like basic stuff. There's not much that you can't use an AR like this for. Now, it is a little bit light for hunting deer. You can hunt hogs with them. I've shot hogs with 223s. It's not bad. You just gotta hit them in the head. Now, something like this is a lot easier to shoot than the scout rifle. The scout rifle is .308, so it does have a lot more kick. This is a 5.56 with a muzzle brake on it. This has no recoil, so less power, so you're not going to be able to pack a punch on whatever you're hitting. You do have more ammo though, so you have 30 rounds with something like this. You have 10 or 20 with something like that. Real quick, I do want to show you guys the difference between having your scope mounted here and having it forward of the action. You can see we don't have a lot on the outsides of the scope that we can see. Essentially the area that is not taken up by the scope, so down here and up here. Now, if we were to take the scout rifle and do the same thing, see how you guys can see through the scope and see how much more you can actually see. So you can see that chalk bucket, you can see the box of rags, you can see the the cleaner on the counter. Now what that does is it allows you to be a lot more aware of what's going on to your left and to your right when you're shooting. You can see why it would be important to have something like this. Is it 100% necessary? No. You know, purpose-built rifles have their place, but if it comes down to it and you have to grab one rifle, you can't go wrong with grabbing a scout rifle because you have the best of all worlds. Another thing I'd like to say is that Reddit would have you believing that this rifle shoots 2 MOA. I wouldn't trust anybody on Reddit because they probably don't know how to shoot. I haven't MOA tested it, but I can tell you I've shot 2 MOA rifles. This isn't a 2 MOA rifle, but probably right around that 1 MOA mark. All right, real quick, let's get real. Are you actually going to need a scout rifle? Probably not. Probably not, dude. You're probably not going to need a scout rifle because you're probably not going to end up in the apocalypse and you're... What the hell is that? Is there a bird behind me? Oh, it's a rabbit. Yo, perfect. The likelihood that you and your boys are out and you got to go scout is like, I don't know. But knowing my demographic of people that watches this channel, you're probably going to go hunting. And if you go hunting, you might like one of these things. Particularly if you hunt in very close quarters, a rifle like this can be very handy. I hunt a lot of deer. I've never shot a deer too far. Then again, I mostly bow hunt, so there's that. Realistically, the furthest shot you can get out here in the Midwest, 400 yards would be a ridiculous shot. 200 yards would be like, okay, that could happen. 100 yards and within is a lot more likely. And this is a 2-7. So a 2-7 on a fast handling rifle that's lightweight and packs a punch like 308, in my opinion, is pretty much perfect for most hunting situations you're gonna run into. Like in reality, you're gonna be in your stand, you're shivering your balls off, you hear something behind you, you turn around, there's a big buck and he's moving through the trees. So you throw your gun up real quick, you get a nice sight picture, and then boom, take him out. It just makes sense. I can make that make sense. I can't necessarily make sense of carrying like an AR-10. I can't necessarily make sense of carrying a SR-25 into the woods, you know? Hog hunting too, this would be amazing for hog hunting. This is like the most hog hunting gun to ever have been made. Hog hunting, you don't shoot far when you're hunting hogs. Like you're in the thick brush, maybe a hog charges you. I've seen hogs charge people before. That guy shot it with a pistol. But if you had a scout rifle, it'd probably be pretty handy. Throw the gun up real fast, take out a hog, rack it, take out another hog. Again, you have the 308 packs punch. I don't know how many more times I gotta say that. Elk hunting, I wouldn't necessarily think this would be the best choice. I've never hunted elk with a rifle. You might get a further shot, and this might not be the best. A 4-12 on like a 30-06, that would be a lot better because you might actually have to shoot 400 yards to kill an elk or 300 yards to kill an elk. You don't necessarily have to shoot 200 yards or 300 yards to kill a deer. And you especially don't have to do that to kill a hog. You know, something like this, it's lightweight, it's handy, it's not extremely expensive. It's just good all-around rifle. It's not a bolt action in the traditional sense that you think of a bolt action, but it's also not like confined to the confinement that an AR is, right? I really like the idea of this rifle. I like shooting this rifle. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's amazing. About this rifle in particular, some people were saying that the magazine was falling out from shooting it. I haven't run into that issue yet. It looks like that was kind of an issue that Mossberg had when they were first producing these. Perhaps they weren't, you know, all the way checking the quality. The magazine is a little loose, so it doesn't sit perfectly still in there like it would in other bolt actions. But what do you expect? So that's just my review of the scout rifle in general and this particular scout rifle. I like it. I think it's a pretty handy design. I think it's cool. I'm definitely going to be carrying this into the woods this year, and maybe you guys should too. So go ahead and check it out. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know what video you guys want to see next. I'll see you later. Now, the reason that you would want something like the scout rifle over something... Yo, don't, you're, okay.